Hi, this is Manoj Bajpayee and you are watching me on Bollywood Hungama.
Well, it's a huge privilege and honor to have one and only one Manoj Bajpayee with us. He's coming up with Aiyaary, of course, and it's always a pleasure meeting him. It's a pleasure having you back, first of all, on Bollywood.
Thank you very much, Pradhan.
My first question to you will be that are you disappointed with the fact that the movie has moved forward to 9th February now?
Oh, it's definitely, definitely there is a disappointment because this 26th January is a symbol of, armed forces also,
Right.
And the date was announced much before we started shooting for the film. And the date was just apt for an army film like Aiyaary, So to say that we are not disappointed, yes, we are disappointed. But since three films, two more films chose to come on the same date, and one of the film, which is Padmavat, which has gone through quite a lot in terms of protest and the loss of money and the controversy. We as in the producers and the distributors, they very wisely chose another date, and that was 9th Feb. So yes, with very heavy heart, we kind of changed the date. But
Yeah, and there were too many rumors doing the rounds that maybe once Padman shifted the date to 9th February, that you guys might be coming on 26th January. There were quite a few rumors within the trade circles
and without any official confirmation.
Without any official confirmation.
Yeah. So we were not too hassled by it, but we wanted to correct each and every person on the social media who was putting it out there.
Right.
And the job was given to each and every individual. Okay. So I was doing it on my side. Sid was doing it from his side. So likewise, you can't fight each and every rumor, but you can correct it as much as possible, and this is what we have done. Now, see, today we are talking to the Padmavat is released. Okay. So it's fair and clear that we are not there. We'll be coming on the 9th Feb. We're quite excited. We are very excited about the date, and now we are leaving for Wagah border.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the entire cast and crew, we are going to Wagah border to see the parade and be part of it, and just show them that we are ready with a film which is a tribute to the armed forces in real sense.
Right. Okay. And so now Padman is releasing on 9th February. So you guys, आपकी जो मुश्किलें हैं वो अभी भी पूरे तरीके से कम नहीं हो रही हैं?
देखिए, अब we welcome them back. Now our problem is that we would love to come solo on any date, but since too much of shifting has already happened, we don't want to confuse the audience further. So, and 9th Feb is pakka. Since 9th Feb, again, we were the first one to choose that date.
Right.
Padman has chosen it much later. If there is too much of shifting back and forth will happen, audiences will get confused.
Correct.
And there'll be it's too much of hard work, blood and sweat, went into making this film.
Right.
Okay, and we don't want to, lose anything now. Don't want to confuse the audience further. But we are, as I said, all the promotional plans are chalked out, all laid out, and we are going on a promotional spree now since the Padmavat has released, and all the media debates and the protest will start dying down.
Right.
And there will be some lights which will be spared for us, come on us.
No, it will, because I think most importantly, you have a director who's, I think, who has this reputation that everyone waits for his movies, because there's something to look forward to. He has a surprise questionnaire that he always that he always has. Apparently, when Padman's date was announced, you were a bit upset as well. Apparently, you tweeted something which you
actually no. Let me tell you one thing. Right. This is gone way out of my hand. There is a friend of mine. All of you journalist friends, I have been meeting you since so many years. Since the time I'm into this business. Okay. Right. Some of you came in much later than my entry, into this industry.
Right.
But we kept
I interviewed you in 1999 as
1999.
Well.
Okay.
For
so
Sun Magazine
now
well,
it's almost 20 odd years.
19 years. Yeah.
So I have been meeting you guys, quite often.
Right.
So most of you have become, a friend. Most of you become friends of mine. Okay.
Right.
We are like family. We always treat each other, family members. On many occasions we meet up, we talk, sometimes we do interviews, sometimes we don't do interviews, okay? So I follow most of you on Twitter.
Right.
Okay? Some friends who who have come a long way with me. I mean, since 23 years, 24 years, since the time I have entered this industry. Ajay Mahatma is one of them. Okay, he has written one line which was fantastic. I found it fantastic. I woke up in the morning. I didn't even know about the Padman's release new release date.
Okay.
Okay, and he's written something which was fantastic. I found it really fantastic, and there was no Padman mentioned into it.
Right.
Okay, so I just put an emoji of smile. I put I just quoted and put emoji, and that's all I have done. And suddenly, after an hour, I realized that he actually intended to take a dig on Padman, and I, unfortunately, to no knowledge of mine, thought that it's an amazing sentence, amazing philosophy that I should really endorse, and by putting an emoji, and that was blown out of proportion. That Manoj Bajpayee takes a dig at Akshay Kumar, which I deleted.
Right.
The moment I realized that there's something else to that line that I should not have commented upon, I deleted that. When I delete, it means it had nothing to do with me. It was done by mistake.
Right.
Okay.
Sure, absolutely. Because you guys have worked earlier, in fact.
Yes, I mean, to 3 films. I mean, I should be I would be a fool to take a dig on Akshay Kumar. He's somebody I had a great time, working with in Bewafa, in Special Shabis, in Naam Shabana. We promoted films together. We sat and chatted. We ate together. So it was I commented on that. Line which I thought is a great line. Never thought that it's actually meant for something else. Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. So, and do you find it a bit unfortunate that instead of talking about the movie, people are talking about all sorts of other things, and you guys are having a very interesting subject. I've spoken to your director at length, and it's a very interesting subject. It's something which is related to the defense deals that many people they don't talk about it as much as they should be. Do you find that unfortunate that too many other things are being talked about other than what the subject matter of the movie is?
But that's the time we live in. That's the time we are living in. It's a time of social media where each and every person has a right, definitely, rightly so, has a right to pick out any sentence from any person's statement out and completely out of context and blow it out of proportion, and then the entire nation is starts talking about all the channels are talking about the same thing. They are having debates. All of them are talking over each other. No anchor is not even listening to anybody, but still anchor is getting really happy that the TRP is increasing. The lead is rising.
Absolutely. And these days a particular anchor, when he's really making a point, he gets up.
Yes.
He stands up in the news from his seat. So it's like really funny. It's like become entertainment.
Yeah.
And they don't realize what they're doing because they're allowing people with swords inside their newsrooms. They are allowing people who are saying all sorts of shit.
They are allowing it because it's a show.
It's a show, and ideally those people should be arrested.
Yeah.
In the name
ideally,
of,
but it's an entertainment. For them, a guy sitting with a sword next to him makes a fantastic entertainment show. Not a fantastic news channel.
Right.
As a very responsible news channel, you would always report it to the nearest police station that this guy.
It should be. Talking about Aiyaary for that matter, you also have this entire defense deals because from what I understand, there's first of all the Aiyaary. The idea itself is very interesting because you keep on changing your आपके बहुत से disguises हैं, you keep on camouflaging, and that thing is there. But the entire defense deals idea, we've had like a Bofors in the past, and these days they talk about a Rafael scam. I don't know how credible it is or not, but it is there in the public purview as well. So this entire dialogue of Kumud Mishra that taxpayer का पैसा है तुम्हें क्या problem है? Does that hit you? Does that make you angry? And people, there are
It
people
definitely
there are
does.
people who use that.
No matter who is in the government, no matter who is in power, no matter who is handling what department, it pinches and pains each and every citizen of this country, whether they are taxpayers or they are not a taxpayer. If they are taxpayer, they feel really bad that their money is not being used properly. And if they are not a taxpayer, they are a poor person. He feels really pain that the money where it should be used, it is not being used properly, and from generations they are still working in the field, and they are not going to leave anything really comfortable for their children. So it's not a great situation for anybody. When you hear any instance of corruption from any quarter. Corruption is the biggest disease that any country can have.
Right. And that too, especially when you're talking about the armed forces, and which is unfortunate that soldiers, especially down the run, they're the ones who get killed. They are not maybe get the same amount of good facilities that what they deserve, especially in the trying circumstances that they work in. And there are people who are actually just playing with the sentiments in the name of deals which are just making them rich, but the country is going nowhere with that.
You know what? I don't know the inner details of it. I'm as naive as you are. Because we are all civilians, as the army men put it. But the Jaisalmer border we went to. I have been there twice. This was second time. It was our promotional visit, and BSF has invited us. We spent around 2 days. One day at the headquarters in Jaisalmer, and one day at the border. Throughout, from morning till the late evening, we were there. And the facilities, what I have seen long back, has only increased and become quite better. And it's also an international border. So on international border, the threats are not so intense, from the neighboring country. But on the line of control situation is a very volatile area. There, people are all the army men's camps and the arrangements. It has to be makeshift. And then they live in that kind of a condition.
Right.
And each and every government, but I have realized that their focus has always been on the armed forces, because we are not a country which is only surrounded by two countries, from north or south like America. We are a country which is surrounded from 3 sides or 4 sides.
Correct.
Okay, and our relationship with each and every country is like a hot and cold all the time. Okay? Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not so good. So our armed forces are the only forces which have to be alert 24/7, whether they are deployed in Manipur or Doklam or say Leh Ladakh or line of control Jammu Kashmir, or say Gujarat or Thar area and Jaisalmer. Okay?
And eastern areas as well.
Eastern area, and the southern area is Sri Lanka. And our relationship with Sri Lanka is also blow hot and blow cold kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
So our navy, our armed force, our air forces, our armed forces are the forces. They've always demanded attention from all the central governments, and all the central governments' the focus have always been the welfare of the armed forces or the navy or the air forces. These are the people, they deserve your attention.
Right. So talking about the facilities part once again, the fact is that the amount of budget that we have for defense, and this is a perception, sir, because obviously I'm not maybe even I will be saying from a civilian perspective, from a layman's perspective, but whatever I've read, the amount of money that is spent as far as defense of the country is concerned, but still there are question marks on the fact that we talk about the entire Uri mishap that happened and the incident that happened. The entire country was up in flames, at least the news channels were, and that we had certain issues, that this happened, and we should be doing this. But the fact is that the question that was valid and I think people should have maybe answered that as well. That why was it that our security was so lax? The fact is that that if anyone can breach it so easily, and like say 4-5 boys can just come in like just like that, that is something that's a cause of concern and should be debated as well. That can Israel, anyone can dare to do something like that? They can't, because they are like really strong. In spite of the entire, they are surrounded by so many people, but their security is like really quick. We talk about Hanumantappa. We have made him into a like a legend, which he deserves to be. But the fact is that if he would have had like proper gear, maybe he could have survived the avalanche that he was caught up in. So there are certain other things as well that that should be asked, but somehow we are just getting, the entire narrative is getting lost in some other thing about.
See, what happens with an army Jawan, it's monitored and looked into by the army officers or the army committees that they have. Okay, and not all the details that you have or I have. Okay, even they are tried in their own in their own courts first. Okay, so I think we should none of us. I think barring few of the journalists who do some kind of investigative journalism, or who handle the army area, you know, none of us has any concrete detail about as to what goes into those camps, or what goes on line of control, what goes on the borders, okay, and what goes inside the armed forces.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you know, we civilians should also understand one thing: there will be, you know, few lacunas, but that doesn't mean that you know, our army or our navy or our air force is any less than any other country's armed forces.
Right.
They are not, and they work in the most challenged and most difficult circumstances in this country. And Kargil is one of the biggest example.
Right.
Okay, so with this film is a tribute to all those army men, to their struggle, sacrifices, not only on the border but also inside the nation, where they are fighting against so many evils. So that is where, you know, this film is so different from all the other army film which show you know, border war with the neighboring country.
Right.
You know, here we are not. You know, here one Colonel Abhay Singh is actually fighting the inside enemies. You know, the inside enemies which is indulging into the corruption, and which is indulging into the shaming and naming the resources which work for our country. So there are too much at stake, where when they actually go chasing and or go after these kind of enemies.
Right.
So that the struggle here of an army man is also as big as the struggle or the fight that an army man is fighting on the border.
Correct.
So this is a very different area of an army man that you get to see in this film, Aiyaary. Yeah.
Right, and talking about the entire idea of Aiyaary, that Aiyaar kaun hota hai, in terms of the
Right.
disguise factor. Did you enjoy that? Because you know, when it's a Neeraj Pandey film, so obviously there will be something intriguing, and I'm sure that he always has some very interesting characters.
He's a great mind, you know.
Right.
Why I smile whenever you take his name, because you know, he's a private person.
He is.
Yeah, he's a very private person, and he's so shy of facing the camera that at times, you know, it becomes very difficult to get through to him. You know, I used to be that shy, but I know we had to work upon ourselves. Since we are actors, we have to come out and talk about the film, be the face of the film. You know, there is no other option left, you know. So we got improved and corrected, but Mr. Neeraj Pandey still can afford to put us in the front and, you know, stay in the background, and he happily does that. You know, it's not that he's doing us he never thinks that he's doing us a favor. Rather, he prefers to be in the background. But yes, you are very right. He's such a rare talent, you know, in this mainstream genre. Without using or succumbing to the mainstream formula, he still manages to put some new subject, new topic on the screen, new storyline on the screen, new relationship, new characters, and none of his narrative that you will get to see the old tried and tested formula to get the attention of the audience. But he still does that. He still he gets the eyeballs. He still gets the applause in the dark theater. His films has always been successful from Wednesday. And the Wednesday was about what? I mean, two old people.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day,
it was so entertaining,
so entertaining,
engaging,
so intriguing, and it actually opened your eyes about so many other facets of our life.
Sure.
Okay, like or Baby for that matter. So, such a different narrative. You are talking about intelligence, and for the first time, all the countrymen. After watching the film, came to realize as to what the intelligence department actually does.
Right.
Right. I know they are unsung heroes of our country.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
They work in hiding, and they work as unsung heroes. They die as unsung heroes.
Right.
Similarly, Special 26. Okay. Here, I mean. Whenever I see that film, it always baffles me about this man's talent. I mean, give me one instance where he has succumbed to the mainstream formula. Never.
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
But he still binds it together. He still gets your attention. Okay?
Right.
And he very happily and proudly says that I am a mainstream director. I make films for the audience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's an open-ended ending of Special 26.
Special 26,
there is like a sequel screaming for happening someday or the other. As you were talking, sir, that these days we're living in strange times, that social media, anyone can just get up and just get away with anything. This entire controversy that around Siddharth Malhotra and Big Boss and
it's really I'm getting a bit trolled for it.
Yeah, because you were there and you are from Bihar yourself.
So I will talk in two areas. Okay, I'll address two areas.
Right.
Okay, I'll just hope that through your interviews, people who are watching get their answers. First of all, it was too noisy. Everybody knows what happens on the stage of Big Boss.
Right.
There's a music going on. I am saying dialogues in Bhojpuri, and I'm a very proud Bhojpuri speaking guy, much more than those people who are trolling me.
Right.
Okay.
And we know that.
Yeah.
You've spoken about your...
Yeah, much more...
From Betia, from what I understand.
Yeah, I have much more pride in Bhojpuri language and the place I come from.
Right.
They were not even born, when I started my journey. So give a due to somebody where it really, requires. So, nowadays you all are, shouting and screaming the pride of Bihar. Here is a man who, when he got out, there was not even a single bus which went directly to my district town.
Right.
So forget about them. The trolls will always be trolls because they can't even talk to you when they face you.
Right.
They can only talk on Twitter. So secondly, I was told by Salman to translate dialogues in Bhojpuri, and which I was very happy to do it because I love to speak Bhojpuri. To the people who are from say UP or Punjab, I suddenly burst into speaking Bhojpuri. I just love it. I miss my language. But I can't speak to anybody else. So if I have to speak Bhojpuri, I have to call up my parents or my brothers, sisters. Okay?
Right.
My wife doesn't speak Bhojpuri. My daughter definitely doesn't speak Bhojpuri. She only speaks English. Our struggle is to teach her Hindi at least. So that's, everything that was being said and reacted and responded got lost in the music and the laughter of the situation which was created on the stage.
Right.
So what I could hear was Latin, not lattering.
Right.
Okay. Then suddenly somebody has messaged me saying that how could you not correct him? I haven't even seen the show which I was part of. Had I seen it, I would have corrected him or not corrected him. That's beside the matter. Secondly, for me, I'm a very proud Bihari, and if you make fun of me because I'm from certain area, I'll never respond to it. That is me, because inside me, I'm laughing at you and your illiteracy and your upbringing. Okay. When I was in Delhi at the age of 18, I left my home, without taking any money from my parents. So when I went to Delhi, whoever came, got inside a DTC bus, the bus conductor and the driver used to call that guy a Bihari. If somebody who's getting into a bus from the front side, not getting into it from the back side, is a Bihari. So I used to hear it every day. People used to call me Bihari whenever they used to think that, that's the only way they could get away with or mock at me. I used to just laugh, smile. One day my teacher asked me, why don't you respond to them? And I said, I don't respond to them. I laugh at them inside. I laugh at them at their upbringing.
Sure, absolutely.
I laugh at them at their education. Look at me, I come from a village. My mind is I'm much more broad-minded than the so-called big city people who are still stuck into Bihari and Punjabi.
No, absolutely. So the fact is that the number of IAS who come in from Bihar is humongous actually. The political understanding, political understanding that Biharis have, I think it is like rarely that anyone can have the sort of political acumen that Biharis tend to have. There's so many leaders, be it Jagjeevan Ram and so many of them who have come from Bihar.
I can go on about Bihar,
right,
and its contribution to independence struggle and Jayaprakash Narayan movement, and its contribution to bureaucracy, its contribution to film industry, its contribution to
education as well.
Education, so I can its contribution to tourism, its contribution to the legacy of this country, cultural legacy of this country.
Right.
I can go on, it's the biggest cultural place in this country, Which empire has anyway bigger than Chandragupta Maurya? Okay, even Sita ji comes from our area. If you go by the Hindu mythology.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about Gautam Buddha, Nalanda University. But these are very few. There are too many. I mean, having said that, this is not an interview about counting those great strength of Bihar. But all I would say, come on guys, grow up. Siddharth Malhotra didn't say anything mockingly. We were just having fun. It was all in fun.
So the idea is that these days anything can start looking so really big. And Neetu Chandra apparently she tweeted as well, and she didn't like it either. So it is something which is, till the time you don't react to something, it doesn't look so objectionable.
Let me tell you
one
thing.
The moment you react to it, it's
Siddharth, I was there. None of the people who is trolling me were there. I was there. It was all fun. No intention of making a mockery of anybody. And as far as, if somebody is abusive, somebody is really being aggressively, looking down upon me only because I'm from some area or speak certain language, I'll take care of it. Don't worry. So that is where I said, Faridun, that, ask those people to just calm down and grow up. Because I speak and understand Bhojpuri much more than anybody who are considering themselves as the custodian of the language.
Right. Talking about this the way things are going, I think all over the place these days in terms of the controversies. Like say whatever has happened with Padmavat for that matter. That as you were discussing the entire news channels element and the way people are just shouting and screaming, and they're just burning malls. They've burnt I think mall in Ahmedabad yesterday, and they're burning tires on the roads of Navi Mumbai, and all sorts of things. Faridabad, I saw the video of the CCTV camera, the inside footage of what happened in Faridabad. It's like, you cannot do it. And what is more shocking is that in spite of Supreme Court coming into the picture, the fact is that the law enforcing agencies, they're not really being proactive in just putting these elements to where they deserve to be. We've seen what happened with the entire MSG case. People died. And if there would have been a proper law and order enforcing machinery, things could have been different. Does it upset you? Does it bother you? We've had like the Adil
It only scares me. It only scares me as a
Pakistani artist nahi aana chahiye. But it's like became like something.
It scares me when law and order machinery doesn't function.
Ji.
When law and order machinery fail to protect its own citizen. Okay, in this case, the film fraternity. It scares me, it scares me because I'm a proud Indian,
Ji.
I'm a proud Bihari, I feel that I tried to contribute as much as possible in some way or the other to the growth of this country.
Absolutely.
When we go out, we go abroad and stand there with pride as an Indian, and we take a great pride in calling ourselves Indian. And when law and order machinery, somewhere fails to protect us or fails to, thrust the machinery, in place, that is a very scary situation, because where else we can go? What is the fault of Sanjay Leela Bhansali or the filmmaker, S. Durga's filmmaker? I mean, they have only made films.
Right.
It's like writing stories. Some people write stories, some people paint, some people make films, and only for that job, which is their passion, which is their livelihood. Just to do that, if they have to invite so much of trouble, it's not a good situation. So I would really request and urge law and order enforcement, people to really take stringent action on people who are no way bowing down to Supreme Court directive.
Absolutely.
And it's still going on with the protest.
Right. So I've known you for a long time, and I've had the highest of regard for you. The fact is that you have a mind of your own. You have certain views as well, and you express them. Certain times you're not able to express them. We understand that as well. When the film industry is asked to do like a film on demonetization, that it's something which is like a really success. You were part of it as well.
Which one?
Probably.
Okay.
The television TVC that came out.
Okay.
That ways. The people who've had issues with the fact that maybe it was not as big a success as it was touted to be. How do you react to it, sir? Because the fact is that when you have a spokesperson who says that the film industry, film guys, their IQ is less. They don't have an IQ. You don't treat the film guys with respect, but when you need them, you just
this is what I'm saying.
As you want.
So what has happened?
If they don't have the IQ, then why are you using them?
So now, first of all, whoever says that film people don't have an IQ, I mean, they should really check their IQ first, because film guys or the theater guys, they are supposed to read, write and watch regularly, and meet people regularly to have life experiences, to understand things in a much better way, so that they can act or direct or write. Okay, so that is one thing. And we all as far as I'm concerned, I'm a graduate from Delhi University, and I studied from Bihar, which is supposed to be a very good place for education.
Absolutely.
Okay. So as far as if the gentleman has to check the IQ, he should check my IQ. And this is no arrogance.
No, sure.
This is all I'm trying to tell him, that there are many of the actors here who are very intelligent, fairly intelligent.
Right.
They read and watch every day. They have a great understanding of the society, socio-political situation of our society. They might not be an economics expert. Yes, I am not. I'm not a social expert, but yes, I have a fair amount of understanding. Expertise is one thing, understanding is another. I have a fair amount of understanding of whatever is going on in our society, and I have some opinions about it. Those opinions may change after you really convince me. Okay, but to convince me, you cannot try to pull me down. You cannot threaten me, intimidate me. You convince me with words, with logic, okay, and with datas. We'll get convinced. Definitely, we are not a fringe element who is going to protest against you if you try to convince us. We are going to listen to you very carefully. We are very wise people, and we are very sensitive and sensible people. If some experts say that demonetization was successful, and if he gives me some data in favor of this, I have no other option but to agree with him. Okay, and whichever party is in the government, I respect my government. If I don't respect my government, I cannot question my government. I cannot only be questioning my government all the time, 24/7. It will only be my bias that I am not looking at the other facets where government is doing good job. Demonetization is not something, or GST is not something this government has brought it up. Even last government has tried to bring it up in the same parliament. Okay.
GST.
GST.
Not
demonetization. I'm talking about GST.
Last happened with
I'm talking
Indira
about GST.
Yeah.
What are the downside of demonetization? We are still trying to figure it out. Am I right or not? They are still discussing it in each and every news channel. I mean, whenever I switch it on, they have still been discussing it. So they have still been trying to come to some kind of conclusion as to what it has done, good or bad.
Sure.
So as an actor, you want me to have a great IQ to understand everything in its totality in the first go. I think it's being very unfair, sir. It's very unfair to all of us. As I said in the beginning, we don't have any expertise on other things other than what we do.
Right.
Okay. Yes, we have fair amount of understanding of what goes on and what's going on.
Right.
So we can have an opinion. An opinion may change if you really convince us.
Right, absolutely. And which is funny that it is कि आप लोग song and dance करिए, आपको social issues पे बात करने की क्या ज़रूरत है? Which is
this is what I told you in the beginning, that they are not ready to look at us, as a very intelligent, wise, expert people who are doing their job correctly.
Correct.
And appropriately since the time of independence. They are still, considering us as somebody who is dumb, who has no educational qualification,
right,
and who is just a nachne gaane wala.
Exactly.
So whenever they want to dismiss us, this is the best way.
Which is unfortunate.
This is the best way. आप लोग भांड हो, आप लोग नाचने गाने वाले हो, आपको आता क्या है? This is the best way to dismiss our point of view. हम बोल क्या पाएंगे? फिर हम अपने आप को ये डिफेंड करने में लग जाएंगे कि हम इंटेलिजेंट हैं, वाइज हैं. I know. Then the whole the exact matter will be diluted.
Yeah, and it is the Chinese president, when he meets Mr. Modi, he talks about Amir Khan. So that's how he knows about India.
Yeah.
Which is Bollywood as well. So. Yeah. All right, so what are you doing next? We can keep on talking on and on. There's so much. What are you doing next post Aiyaary?
What am I doing next? I'm doing Ahmed Khan's film. Is a very old friend of mine.
Right.
He insisted and resisted and Mukesh Chabra and him for me to do Bagi 2. They have given me a very small but very significant part in the film.
With Tiger Shroff.
With Tiger. So I was there on the set, completely pampered by Sajid Nadiadwala's production people. So it was kind of a picnic for me. 30th March is releasing.
Right.
And I used to just go on the set just to be awed by, Tiger Shroff's skill. So each
and apparently you're dancing with him.
I'm not dancing with him. I'll be a fool to dance with him. I can hardly manage it with Siddharth, though he keeps putting me in these kind of difficult situations. But 30th March is releasing Bagi 2, and I'll be shooting for Son Chiraiya, this film which is being shot in Chambal with Sushant Bhumi, Ranbir Shori, Ashutosh Rana.
Right.
I'm making a special appearance in that film. So only for that, this beard.
Right.
After that, I'll be shooting for a film with John Abraham. That's a mainstream film. Milap Jhaveri is directing.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Milap,
Nikhil Advani is the producer.
Yes. Milap is very excited about that. Yeah.
Right. And web series I'll be getting into. So by August, my plan is to finish everything by August, and then take a break of 5 months. No work for 5 months. I have decided to learn cooking. Cooking and be with my daughter most of the time, and let my wife, just roam around freely without any responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, sir, I'll be honest. I was just checking your filmography, and I think you've been active since '94, from what I understand.
93.
93.
Yes.
And the fact is that you managed to look so good, so it's like really amazing, actually.
You know why, Fardun? Every year I feel that I haven't done anything.
Wow.
So today, I'm not a person who like to be nostalgic. If you make me sit here and talk about my theatre days, my Delhi days, or my village days, my Bettiah days, failed miserably because you know I like to move on. I
Yeah.
like to move on.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that's the
You know,
hallmark of
so
all the great people actually.
so you know, the being nostalgic is, I always feel that you know it's a futile job, and every year I feel that you know I don't have some great films in my hand, and I have to find those great films, be fit for it, be healthy for it, and do complete justice to it. So even this year, there are few resolve. You know, Gully Guliyan, one film will be coming this year, which I think is the most difficult film of my career, and,
Right.
and by my standard, is the most satisfactory job for me.
Right.
Okay, so it has gone to all the film festival with the name In the Shadows and got so many awards.
Ji.
Now it's coming here, releasing in this country. And Bhosle we've completed with our own money. Okay, 4 or 5 people got together.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we put in our own money because 6, 7 producer who offered to come into it, they ran away after hearing the script. So eventually we kind of finished the film.
Right.
It's in the post production. We'll take the film to all the international film festival, and next year this very dear film of ours we will be releasing.
Mostly.
So yes, but other than that, the resolve of this year is to learn cooking,
Wow.
okay, and to learn little bit of dancing.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a tiger shroff dust to you.
No, no. So that Siddharth Malhotra doesn't make fun of me. Okay. And third thing is to be with my daughter from
That's very important.
August. Yeah,
That's very important.
for some time actually, because every time I reach home after 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, or a month, she says, "So when are you going back?" That's her first question.
Right.
So I'm also learning cooking because so that I can, you know, treat her with some food of mine.
No, absolutely.
You know,
That's very
so
important.
that she can have a memory of her father's dishes. नहीं तो पता मम्मा नहीं, मम्मा ये बनाती थी, मम्मा वो बनाती थी, मम्मा ये करती थी, मम्मा वो करती थी, पापा का कुछ है ही नहीं.
And I think cooking is like it's like a very artistic thing as well. It's like
Yeah.
what you do with your work. It's like the same thing that you do with cooking as well. So thank you very much, sir. Lovely talking to you, and looking forward to Aiyaary and looking forward to all your ventures. And thank you for being so honest and forthright. We don't get too many people within Bollywood who speak with so much honesty. Thank you very much.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's all we have from BollywoodHungama. Keep on watching.
Hi, this is Manoj Bajpayee, and you are watching me on Bollywood Hungama.